What is going on, guys? I'm Black Ops Amazing. Welcome back to another video on the channel. We have just gotten yet another piece of marketing over on the Truth Dies website for Black Ops 6 Zombies. Along with that, we also got a trailer for Mr. Peaks' Gobblegums, so it is no longer Dr. Monty's. Again, I've uploaded that. There was also a video I missed that came out yesterday showing Liberty Falls, which I'm going to go over after, but first let me show you this new video that we've just gotten minutes ago.
The CIA has declassified top secret documents. More on that later.
So the CIA has finally declassified some top secret documents relating to Project Janus. This first document in the center is dated 09/17/1987 to Station Chief Maxwell. It says, "We are writing to inform you Ernest Duffer has been assigned to serve," and then the next part's blurred, I can't make out what it says, but he's been assigned to serve something for the foreseeable future. Mr. Duffer previously served at a similar position at a facility in, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Hohenschönenhausen, which is in Germany. We cannot disclose his professional history at this time. Please understand that we believe he will uphold the standard of quality we have come to expect from Terminus Island. Sincerely, Project Janus Administration. So we have a new character called Ernest Duffer. I'm wondering if he is the bald man that we see looking over the monitors from the first video. The next note about Project Janus says, "Interrogation progress brief. Subject, Gregory Weaver. Interrogator, Ernest Duffer." So that confirms that this Ernest character is an interrogator at the prison. Initial intake status, blames himself for incarceration at Requiem, brainstorm ways to exploit this, acts as an anchor point for the rest of his team, keep him separated from Gray and Strauss, may give us an advantage. The director wants this one to suffer. The director of course being Richtofen, so Richtofen wants Gregory to suffer, we potentially believe for killing his son. Current status, without a clear purpose, Weaver has become a broken, bitter man. Physical labour will continue to take place before our sessions. It makes him more malleable. The next interrogation brief is about Gray. It says, initial intake status, impudent and willful in session before footage from holding cell suggests she is putting on a brave face. Repeatedly stated during intake that someone would come looking for her and other members of Requiem. Current status, acts ambivalent in regard to her own safety, no longer responds to threats of physical harm. Has stated she no longer believes anyone is coming for her. The interrogation report on Carver says, initial intake, he was trained to counter interrogation tactics. Time to get creative. He boosts morale for others in the group. Break him, break them all. Current status, he resorted to shutting down via desiccation during the interrogation. Careful to conserve his energy in my presence. Running physical training sessions with his companions has kept him stable, considering isolation. And then the final one is about Dr. Strauss. This one's a lot more difficult to make out, but from what I can see it talks about his moral standards. This one's pretty unreadable, but at the end it says he's become very adept to misdirection. And then the video ends with us seeing shredded documents. So this whole teaser is about Ernest Jones being told by the director of Requiem to torture and break these four characters. And it seems that's what he was in the process of doing. So that's this new teaser today about Terminus, but like I said, we also got one yesterday which I didn't cover, that is about Liberty Falls. So let me show you this one and then we can talk about it.
Live from DC, Trisha Powell reports.
So it starts off with us flicking through the TV channels looking at these 90s style adverts, when suddenly we see some breaking news from DC, the screen distorts and we see Mr. Peaks. And the next thing we know, we are watching what looks to be home recorded footage of the beginning of a zombie outbreak. It starts off with riot police and people trying to break through windows. We then see this shot with an eye. I'm not a biologist, I don't know what's going on here, but whatever this is supposed to be in the human body begins to mutate, and the next thing we know, the undead begin ravaging their way through Liberty Falls. Somebody locked behind the shutters inside of a shop records the zombies running past them. On the next clip it looks like we are in somebody's home with a zombie or potentially a person lying dead on the floor, and then two people running down their stairs as they're being chased by the undead. Their house is on fire. Then we get more of this. Could this be the infection taking over people, turning them? The next significant recording is of some zombies outside of a building eating people, and then it cuts to the undead lying dead on the floor with a policeman standing over them telling everyone to evacuate and run. Meanwhile, the area around him is destroyed. Cars are on fire. And then finally the video cuts off back to the TV where we see on screen Project Janus, which is Richtofen's secret project. So what we witness in this teaser video is the beginning of the undead outbreak in Liberty Falls. caused by Project Janus, and we actually have a first-hand recording of an eyewitness who was there during that first day, those first moments when the outbreak happened. If you haven't been staying up to date with the Modern Warfare 3 zombie storyline, I wouldn't blame you, but there is a character called Crystal Miller who reveals to Revanov that when she was a child, a zombie outbreak similar to what she's experiencing in Modern Warfare 3 actually also happened to her in Liberty Falls. Revanov tells her, wait, hang on, you were there during the Liberty Falls outbreak? Bear in mind that Modern Warfare 3 Zombies takes place in 2021, so about 30 years after the zombie outbreak in Liberty Falls. But Revanov says to Miller, who's looking for answers, make a record of everything she remembers, and he will try to clear things up for her about what really took place. Since she was just a child back then, she didn't fully grasp the entire situation, but this was the recording that she did for Revanov about what took place during the day of that outbreak.
Ravenov, I know you told me to record this when I had time. Well, I'm making time. If you can fill in the gaps, I might be able to make peace with what happened. Right. Outbreak day. First thing I did that day was wake up and go to school. It was 91, so I must have been in kindergarten. No, wait. No, first grade. Sometime after recess, there was a fire drill. When everyone filed out onto the playground, we found our parents waiting for us. I was so excited to see Mom and Dad. I didn't notice how scared they looked. I thought they'd planned something special, like we're gonna go to the bowling alley or something. Before I knew what was happening, Mom grabbed me by the wrist and ran. I had no idea where we were going. Now that I think about it, she probably didn't either. Dad had his hunting rifle with him. He was just ahead of us, but I kept losing sight of him because he was always ducking around corners. Mom still had her hand wrapped around my wrist, telling me to pick up my feet or I get left behind. Our little town must have been in chaos, but I didn't notice any of that. All I could do was focus on staying upright. I tried to keep up. I really did. But my legs were too short and we were running so fast. I cried, begging Mom to slow down, but she just tightened her grip and kept her eyes straight ahead, saying over and over, "Pick up your feet, baby girl, or you're gonna get left behind." I tried to get Dad's attention, get him to tell her to stop, but he bolted down the alleyway by Ollie's Comics. That's when I heard a loud crash, something growled, Dad started screaming. And then the rifle went off. Mom just kept running. I think that's enough for today.
So as you just heard, when Miller was a child living in the town of Liberty Falls, on the morning of the outbreak when everything was normal, she woke up, went to school as she usually would, but sometime after recess, there was a fire drill, and when everyone met on the playground, they found their parents waiting there for them. Recalling back now, she remembers how scared they looked, but at the time, being a child, she didn't notice. Anyway, all of these children's parents, including Miller's then, grabbed their kids and started to run. Her dad had his hunting rifle with him. Miller and her mother were just behind, trying to keep up. As they were running through the town, it was in complete chaos. There was people everywhere doing the same thing. Eventually, her father bolted down an alleyway near a place called Ollie's Comics, and that's when all of a sudden, Miller heard a loud crash. Something growled, her dad started screaming, and then his rifle went off. And her mum just kept running, and that's where she finishes the recording. But Miller describes to us what we are seeing in this video. Day one of the outbreak in Liberty Falls. I'm assuming what we are seeing are random recordings of survivors during that day. Someone locking themselves in a shop, recording the zombies going past, someone else recording themselves running out of their own house, another person recording the undead on the floor as a copper is trying to tell everyone to evacuate. All of this happened on the same day that Miller is talking about. This is what she experienced as she was running through her town, Liberty Falls. To her left, to her right, in front of her, all of this carnage was going on. The zombies were completely ravaging the town. So when we get to play it, we are playing as a special operations unit which has been sent in to investigate what's gone on in this small town of Liberty Falls, what has caused this outbreak, and to try and contain it. we kind of know what's gone on and how it began. As you saw on the TV screen at the end, the logo for Project Janus, which is Richtofen's secret project, also involving a secret board of directors. Back during the 80s, Richtofen began work here, building a wall. All of the town's residents were told to evacuate, given a fabricated story that a nearby nuclear power plant had experienced a tower failure and was leaking. However, clearly not everybody left. Anyway, Richtofen shipped in 5,000 tons of steel to this town, along with boring machines, and construction on this wall and a tunnel network began, along with hiring a bunch of new scientists, military personnel, operations personnel, custodians. All of this was a part of Project Janus. Now, as to the exact details of what that project is, we still don't know, but it resulted in this undead outbreak. And even though this hasn't been confirmed, Liberty Falls is also a multiplayer map, so it's likely, I would say, given Vanguard Zombies, Modern Warfare 3 and Cold War, how a lot of areas from campaign and multiplayer maps were reused in the Zombies portion of the game. I think it's likely that the multiplayer map Liberty Falls has been reused for Zombies, so a lot of what you see here could end up being what Liberty Falls as a Zombies map will look like. I would think Treyarch are going to make some changes and zombify it, but I don't think the layout will be that much different. It will be a small town with bowling alleys, comic shops, restaurants, a church, all the things that you'd expect to see, but destroyed and taken over by zombies. And somewhere around will be evidence of Project Janus. So there we go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed the video today. If you have, drop a like rating. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.